so we're going to get ready for our test next Tuesday after we get back from break. The first thing I want to make sure you understand, some of these won't take very long to do, but make sure you know how to calculate a payment. On our last test, I was a little surprised that some of us weren't able to do this, but let's make sure we can do it this time. That's what it's about, it's learning, and it does take time to learn. So basically, on your warehouse loan file that I gave to you today, go to B5. And really, all you got to do is do equal P, and you can see the PMT pops up. So that's our payment. So double click on it. And so for our payment, we need the rate. But our problem here is that you always know that an interest rate is for an entire year. You know, we need a monthly payment. So we're going to click on B4, and we are going to divide that puppy by 12. And then we're going to use our commas to separate our arguments. And then it says number of periods is 10. Since we have this set up by years, we could have put month here and we wouldn't have to do this, but this one's throwing all the issues at you. This one's throwing it all at you, so if you know how to do this, you can do it. And so we got to multiply this by 12 because that will give us the number of months. So you got to divide your interest rate by 12 to get a monthly rate. You got to multiply the number of years by 12 to get the number of total months that we're going to deal with. And then the present value is always the principal that we borrow. It's always the principal that we borrow. That's the present value of our cash flows. Because you borrow them out, and then you've got to pay a certain amount back with interest. And let's see what we got. You get 10,004?
Negative.
Now, it's negative, but how can we fix that? So let's put a negative in front of the PMT, and that'll make it positive. Now, I'm not going to test you on the gold seek this time, but if we did do it, let's just go ahead and review the gold seek while we're at it here. So we got B5 chosen, and we can go to our data, go to what if, go to gold seek. So we want to set cell B5 maybe at set value to, I don't know, $7,500. Well, what do you want me to change? You've got to change something in that formula. Let's change the amount of our loan. So basically what we're saying is we can have a $7,500 payment at 5.75, but we can only borrow 683. So again, I'm not going to test you on gold seek this time, but you will be tested on it again on your final exam. So question on how to calculate a payment. Don't miss that. You can do this. Let's click on our next tab. Make sure we do our data table. Do the data table. Let's see here. We don't have our rates filled in. So click on B9. And let's start with 5%. 5.00. So put in 5.00. Go ahead and put percent on there. I thought that might have been formatted already. And then go down and put 5.25%. And you know we don't have to continue typing. Anytime Excel can spot a trend, anytime it can spot a trend, it's our friend. So all we have to do is to grab our autofill handle. After we grab our two new friends, grab our autofill handle, drag it down to about 8%. That's good. So anytime we can spot a trend, it saves us a lot of time. So everybody got their 5% to 8% down there? We got that? Okay, so when you're doing a data table, you've got to put the payment right here on the shoulder, basically. So consider it right on your shoulder. And we do the same thing. We do equal P and T. Double click it. Now this one's set up a little different, but think through it, think through it. We got an equal payment, we need the rate. So we got to divide that by 12, separate it by a comma. And then it says the number of periods. Since we've already got the months down here, we don't have to multiply, right? Because we're looking for a monthly payment. Separate that. And the present value is $950. Let's go ahead and put our negative in front of the PMT. So our negative PMT, B4 divided by 12. Number of periods, since it's already in months, we don't have to multiply it. If you multiply that by 12, it'd be a huge number and a very small payment. Let's hit our check mark, enter that, and we get $10,428. Everybody got the payment right there on your shoulder. It's right here on your shoulder. All right, well let's grab our payment, and grab all of our percentages and number of monthly payments. We're going to go to data. We're going to go to what if. We're going to go to data table. So go to data, go to what if, go to data table, and that's where it hides. So this is where we get confused. I get confused here a lot. The row input. So whatever we have in this row is what we need to identify on our facts right here. So these are the months, so we need to click on B3. We need to click on B3. The number of monthly payments is in the row. And now remember, this is using this information to calculate the payment. So we are going to identify the monthly payments in the data table. We're going to identify that. So the other creature is whatever's in the column. And since our interest rates are in the column, we need to click on B4. And click OK. And then grab all of our buddies. It's even hard to read. It's hard to read. So let's give it a comma. And you can do the currencies, but that's not the point here. Can we tell if this is right?
Yes.
That can be our check figure, can't it? This was based on 120 months at 5.75%. So we should be able to come down here at 5.75. And so that checks yourself to make sure that it's correct. Let's do that one more time. Has everybody got their payment? Any questions on the payment? Cool. Grab your number of months, grab your percentages, go to data, go to what if, data table, whatever's in the row input cell, this is in the row, so we're going to capture that, B3. Our column is going to be our percentages, so grab that and click OK. And so instead of having to go through and do a bunch of what-if calculations like we did on the prior page, we can do this, and we can use this information to feed into any budgets that we may be working on in 30 seconds. I mean, it takes no time at all. And we can look at this and say, okay, well, we can afford a $6,900 one. No, can't do that. Maybe a $5,000, so 5%. So we got to look for a 5% loan for 360 months. So it gives you a lot of good information with very little work. Yeah.
My example is like
Well, yeah, you got 500%. Click on that. We control all of it.
yeah, I'll say my story.
I mean, those are 5%. And 5.25%. I'll grab both of those. There you go. Right now you put the payment on there,
So,
equal PNP. Grab that and about my 12. Grab your 120, we don't need off license, it's not, now alone. I mean, you could turn the positive, don't worry about that. So everybody got the data table and payment? Gonna rock on this next one. Gonna rock. All right, let's. I would encourage you to save that so you can work on it later. Don't worry about turning it in right now. All right. Data validation and VLOOKUP. Data validation and VLOOKUP. So this is a store staff planning form, a little different than a product. So you can see our job information is a manager, assistant manager, cashier, and so forth. Each of them have a job code, and they've all got a nice salary. Somewhat of a nice salary. So get that in your mind. What we want to do is to validate our data and do a VLOOKUP for the description and the salary. So grab A9 through A18, grab A9 through A18, and we need to validate this data. So we're going to go to data, and one of these creatures is our data validation. No. Is that it? There you go. Yeah, data validation. So click on your drop-down menu and click data validation. You can stop for a second. So basically we're saying that we only want to let certain items into this range. So you've picked your range and now you're going to say stay out everything else that's not part of my list. So click on allow a list. And that list could be anywhere. It could be on this page or another sheet, whatever. So we want to only allow the list. So click on your source. Make sure that's blinking. Make sure it's blinking. Click on job information. And then grab A5 through A11. Grab A5 through A11. And then, of course, just grab a couple of them and go down. You should have a drop-down box with a bunch of all your choices. If I try to type something else in here, it's not going to let me. So grab the range you want to validate. Go to data, go to data validation. Now you can allow, you can set it up where you just allow dates, time, you can customize it, just whole numbers, any value. I guess the only thing about any value is it just doesn't allow text, doesn't allow ABC. So you have a lot of choices here, but the list is the one that's usually used. That's the most common. So everybody got their arrows? Everybody got your cool little arrows? Great. Well, grab a few friends there. So now we're going to do the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. Vertical lookup. We have to do something to our job information first. Grab A4 through C11. Grab A4 through C11. And we have to sort this in ascending order based on our hook. This is going to be our hook right here. This is going to be our hook. So we go to data and go to sort. Sort by job code in ascending order. Sort by job code in ascending order, just one level, just one level. And so now we have an ascending order. So for VLOOKUP to work properly, you have to sort the hook in ascending order. Everybody got it sorted?
No, can you, the column sort by job code,
Yeah, grab A4 through C11,
and then A to Z?
go to sort, job code A to Z. So now we're ready for the magic to begin. Imagine that you have 1,000 job codes and you have a lot more information to deal with. This isn't that substantial, but it gets the point across. So we're going to click on B9, and remember, keep in mind whatever we put in here, we're going to copy it down. So we've got to decide to lock it in or let it fly. Different cell address. We got to decide to lock it in or let it fly. So equal V. And you can see it says, hey, I'm right down here. Double click on me, I'll help. VLOOKUP. And then it says, well, what do you want me to look up? Okay, well, you could type MMG in there, but then you destroy the whole purpose. Because we want to be able to copy this down, and it changes each time we go down. So whatever's in here needs to change to this, to this, to this, and so forth. So we're not going to lock this down, are we?
No.
So we're going to click A9. I want you to look up whatever's in A9. Well, where do you want me to look? Where's my table array? It can be anywhere, but it's on the next sheet. Job information. Grab A4 through C11. Do we want to absolute this?
Yes.
When we're on the other sheet and we copy that down, if we don't absolute this, it's going to start, when we copy it down, it's going to be down here, down here, down here, down here. So it's going to start looking down here. And your first couple of searches might be okay. It might find what it's looking for, but eventually it's not going to find it. So we're going to hit what button?
F4.
You dream about F4. Then you put in your comma. And we want it to bring back whatever it finds in column 2. You see the logic. What do you want me to find? You tell it. Well, where do you want me to find it? Here's your table array. After you've sorted it. And bring back whatever you find in description. Let's see if it works.
There it is.
Now that doesn't mean it's perfect though, right? So let's look at it. Okay, we did. Now sometimes what will happen for whatever reason, even when you hit the F4 button, sometimes those currencies won't get in there just right. Make sure you double check your currencies and make sure they get on all the cell address. So then we just copy that down. And hopefully you can appreciate how much time that's going to save people. Especially when you got thousands of different job descriptions, inventory, and all that good stuff. So number of positions, I'll just put in 5, that's fine, doesn't matter. I'm not even sure what the type is, so we're going to skip over that. So go to salary. Go to salary, do the same thing, equal. Now mine's messed up. Is everybody's equal? My equal's not working. Is your equal working?
Yeah.
Yours is just frozen. Frozen's over.
I know, usually when it's frozen, though, it don't leave the room. Well, okay. In E, do it. You know how to do it, do it. Even though I can't do it on mine, go over here and do equal, VLOOKUP. You want to grab this, you're going to go over there, you're going to do this, except that's going to be what? What column is the salary in? So it's going to look just like this, except it's going to have a 3 there. Now the reason it's not good to copy that over there is because the relative adjustment, it will, if you take it over there, it'll kind of mess things up. So go to E9. There you go. Okay, I'm back. VLOOKUP. E9, VLOOKUp. I want you to find what's in A9, comma. Don't lock it down with absolute because you're going to copy it down. Well, where do you want me to look? I want you to look all here in the table array. You got that? Now what do we do, Ron?
Absolute.
You F4 that bad boy.
Then you want to bring that doggy home and put your call.
Put it in your comma and bring me back whatever you find in 3. Yeah.
You get 0, but it's the same there.
Yeah, do it again. Equal VLOOKUP. Alright. A4.
Then put in numbers for the position.
Bring you backwards and shit. Alright, get your check mark.
Go back to your formula.
Grab your A9, comma. Over there, grab it. Hit F4. And put your comma up here. You stay over here, comma. And then put 3 or 2, I'm sorry. And put your check. Alright, now copy it.
Okay, so I was going.
You were coming back over before you got done, I think. Yeah, now do that. You need to start on equal VLOOKUP.
Oh.
Click on A9. Forward comma. 3. And now hit your check mark. Yeah, you gotta be real careful when you're on the other sheet. Don't come back too soon. Go ahead and finish it off while you're over there. And then you can go down through here and put numbers if you want to. But our main goal here is to make sure we know VLOOKUP. Questions on VLOOKUP. Later on, maybe we'll do an HLOOKUP, but that's a little too exciting for us right now.
What's an HLOOKUp?
HLOOKUP is horizontal. That's when your material, when your information is this way in a different manner, you have to use the HLOOKUP. But most information is like this. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. So, questions on VLOOKUP? Data validation, VLOOKUP, yeah.
So when we do, VLOOKUP into 4 3, what do you do?
Yeah, yeah. Right, we'll click on it. Yeah, so. Right. Well, let me see if I can explain it a little better. Yeah, I want to make sure everybody makes the connection, because when you actually, instead of just memorize something, it helps you understand what it's doing. So basically, you've got your VLOOKUP, you say, okay, whatever you find here, I want you to go over there and find it. And it's a table array, and of course it's a computer, it doesn't know what it's doing, it's just, you know, what you're telling it to do. So you're telling it to bring back whatever is in column 2. Well, why don't we put B there? Why don't we just put B or C in there? Well, because this could be anywhere. This just happens to be where you start. So this is designated our table array, and then it looks at it by each column. So it just works better when you put the numbers in. So that's all the way it does. So everybody got the table array? Got your VLOOKUP? Right, just bring it down. And if you didn't, and again, it might look like you did it right, but if you didn't have those absolute signs there on the table array, when you start copying it down, it's not going to work properly. All right, let's see what else we got cooking.
Should ours be different? Should ours be different? Or should it be the same? Or
Should what
salary
different?
should our salary numbers be different or the same?
Oh yeah, because my job codes are probably different than yours.
Oh, okay.
You chose different job codes than mine.
There you go. Thanks.
All right, let's look at, let's see here, let's go to 5G, sports programs. So we're going to do some sorting here. I do want to make sure we can sort because it's such an important part of Excel. Taking a lot of data and sorting it to make sense out of it. You know, when you just have a pile of data, it's not much use to you. But if you can sort it the right way, filter it the right way, it can help you answer a lot of difficult questions and help you run your business better, or your church better, or whatever it may be. So basically, everybody got their Harbor Jefferson Capital up. So make sure you got your sports program, your Harbor Jefferson Capital, which is the first one. As you can see here, we got a bunch of program names: soccer, basketball, lacrosse, gymnastics, everything. We've given them a number. Some of them play on the field, some of them play on the court, some of them swim in the water. You got your preview days, time, seats, enroll campus, and the code. So good basic information that you can see anywhere, right?
Is TU turf?
What's that? It's what? Is it
What?
TE?
What is it? TU?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday, TU, be Tuesday, yeah. Good time. And Thursday, I believe, will be TR. Okay, grab A out of J40. Grab A1 to J40. Grab A1 to J40. Don't go any further than J40. Let's turn this into a table. So we go to Insert. We go to Table. It should say My Table has headers. Yours is, I'm sure it's checked. If it's not, make sure it's checked. We've got A1 through J40. Click OK. And we have our lovely drop-down arrows to help us filter and sort our brains out. Okay? So, we're going to sort this by using our power sorter. Go to Data, go to Sort, and the first one we're going to sort on is Campus. Values A to Z. But we do not like the way it sorts A to Z, because when we do Campus, we got Harbor. Which campus is it? There's 3 campuses, Harbor and 2 others. So we don't want the A to Z for some odd, strange reason. So we can do a custom sort. So click on our A to Z under Order. Click on Custom List. And while the new list is shown, we're going to create our own list. We are very cool people. So we want this sorted by Harbor. And then we want it to say Jefferson. And then we want capital. And they have to be spelled perfectly, of course. And they should be. Harbor, Jefferson, and capital. This is the way we want our custom sort. Harbor, Jefferson, and capital. Click Add. Click OK. And so now we are sorted by Harbor first. But we're not done with this sort. We're not done with this sort quite yet. We're going to add a level, and we're going to sort by sport group. And then we are going to sort by program name. A to Z is fine. And click OK. So basically we sorted by Harbor, then Jefferson, then capital. And then within those we are sorting by our sport group. So within Harbor, it's court, field, in alphabetical order. And within Jefferson, the same thing, court and field and so forth. Again, does anybody really care how they're sorted that way? Probably not, but the point of that is to build your own list. If it's not available the way you'd like it to be sorted. So you can go to custom list and have some fun there. We're not going to worry about sports season here. Click on stipends. Click on stipends. So here's what our soccer coach stipends. Our soccer coach doesn't make a whole lot, $6,000 extra. When you guys are in high school and play a lot of your sports, you got a lot of part-time people probably getting stipends. And some of your teachers, when they taught, they got stipends too. Probably didn't get this much. A lot of them are very low. I've got a relative who coaches down at Cheatham County High. He works in the school system. I think he gets like $1,500 to be the head basketball coach at Cheatham County High. I mean, it's nothing. One thing is you keep it. But anyway, he loves it. And he just went pretty far. He does a great job coaching. But anyway, that's not really part of this. Okay. All right, what we want to do, we want to know the coach's total stipend by group, okay? For some odd reason, we want to know it by group. But the first thing we have to do to use this powerful function is to sort it properly.